topic to us is the assessment method in PE and Health. Today, we are going to discuss the assessment method, but before that, here are the objectives that we need to attend at the end of our lesson. First, identify the different assessment method. The second, apply the different assessment method in teaching in PE and Health. And the third, appreciate the importance of assessment method and teaching PE and Health and elementary.
What is assessment? Assessment are the tools that physical educators use to measure the skills and fitness levels their students are learning and attaining in their PE class. So, assessing in PE helps to show others like parents, school administrators, and other teachers, and also yourself, what the students are learning in your physical education class. So they should demonstrate what students know or what they can do. So why do we need assessments? So assessments are needed to let the students, parents, know what areas or skills need to be improved upon. So it is important to use assessments to measure and validate students' learning that is happening in your PE program. So, being a teacher or as a teacher, you should be assessing students after a unit or a set of lessons or activities that being done or completed. By performing an assessment at the beginning of a unit, you will have a baseline measurement to compare the post and final assessments. Also, by adding an additional assessment during the middle of the unit, allows the teacher to make adjustment if he or she feels there is a need. So, truly effective PE teachers are always assessing students and adjusting lessons where needed. They just need to make sure that they are attempting to document those processes. So we have different types of assessments. We have the paper and pen test or paper and pen test, performance-based assessment, and table of specification. So the first one is paper and pencil test. Assessments refers to traditional student assessment formats such as written test and also to standardized tests that ask students to use pencils to fill in bubbles on the scannable answer sheets. So in paper and pencil test or assessments, students provide written responses to written items. So it is an assessment which you fill out answers on the assessment form itself or electronic forms. This includes questions to answers, topics to address through paragraph responses, and problems to solve, and etc.
So there are 6 different types of paper and pencil tests, such as true or false, multiple choice, matching type, enumeration, filling the blanks or completion type of test, and the last one is essay. Paper and pencil test can either be select response or constructed response test. Selected response item, it asks students to select the correct answer from a test of options in the item. Paper and pencil test can either be select response or constructed response test. Selected response item, it asks students to select the correct answer from a test of options in the item, while the constructed response item, it asks students to write or construct the correct answer. Selected response type includes true or false, multiple choice, matching type, and the constructed response include enumeration, completion, or easy construct. The first one is true or false. It is a binomial choice test or test that have only 2 options such as true or false, right or wrong, good or better, at marami pa. A student who knows nothing of the content of the examination would have 50% of chance of getting the correct answer by sheer guesswork. The second one is the multiple choice type of test. It is a generalization of the true or false test. The multiple choice type of test offers the students with more than 2 options per item to choose from. Each item in a multiple choice test consists of 2 parts. A, the stem, and the B is the options. In the set of options, there are correct or best option, while all the others are considered as distractors. And the third one is the matching type and supply test items. The matching type items may be considered as a modified multiple choice items where the choices progressively reduce as one successfully matches the item on the left with the items on the right. So, yung sa left ay yung mga tanong, and sa B yung pagpipilian na sagot.
The next type of paper and pencil test is enumeration. It is a type of test or exam done by enumerating particular answers to particular questions. So it is not necessarily in order. For example, given skill-related tests. So we have agility, speed, power, reaction time, coordination, and balance. So it is not necessary. So the next type is fill in the blank, or the supplication or completion test. So it is a type of question test to test the recall power of learners, not their ability to recognize and synthesize. For example, identify what is asked by the following statement. Choose your answer inside the box below. So it is given the answers above, and you have to supply the given. So the next type of paper and pencil test is essays. So essays are classified as non-objective tests allowed for the assessment of higher order thinking skills. For example, like answering why physical fitness is important for people. So we could elaborate this question to formulate our answers. So the example is given right beside the meaning of essay. That was all the type of paper and pencil test assessment. So let us proceed to the performance-based assessment.
Good day everyone, I am Ivy May Campbell and this is the continuation of our report. Performance-based assessment. What is performance-based assessment? It is a set of strategies for the acquisition and application of knowledge, skills, and work habits through the performance of tasks that are meaningfully and engaging to students. This type of assessment provides teachers with information about how pupils understand and apply knowledge. Through performance-based assessment, students or pupils apply their knowledge and skills and context. In simplest term, performance-based assessment is one which requires pupils to demonstrate that they have mastered specific skills and competencies by performing or producing something. And performing like performing basic exercise or dancing. Producing something is like projects or portfolio of the pupils. In Wiggins 1998, uses physical activity when providing examples to illustrate complex assessment concepts, as they are easier to visualize than would be a case with cognitive examples. Yes, because in PE subject it is more on health and physical fitness. So it measures pupils' ability to put into practice their skills and knowledge. So it is better for the student to demonstrate what they learned than just merely explaining the concepts. The cone of learning. During the 1960s, Edgar Dale theorized that learners retain more information by what they do, as opposed to what is heard, read, or observed. His research led to the development of the cone of experience. The cone of learning is a learning pyramid of popular learning model and representations of relating different degrees of retention induced from different type of learning. In this cone model, we observe that learners or pupils retain more information by what they do than what they hear. This cone model shows that it is better to demonstrate than just hearing all the information imparted by the teachers.
Everyone, I am Terry Norman Brada, and this is the continuation of our report. My task for today is to discuss to you the types of performance-based assessment. So the first one is individual or group project. When we say individual, it is done by a learner all by himself or herself. However, group project involves a number of learners to finish the prescribed task assigned by the teacher. Second type of performance-based assessment is portfolio. So portfolio are systematic, purposeful, and meaningful collection of an individual's work designed to document learning over time. It is a compilation of students' work in whole grading period. Portfolio has two types. The first one is working portfolio and the second one is showcase or model portfolio. When we say working portfolio, it is a repository of portfolio documents that the students accumulates over a certain period of time. The working portfolio contains quizzes, assessments, and projects. However, showcase or model portfolio consisting of work samples selected by the students that document the students' best work. So if the learner thinks that his or her work is best, then she or he will put his project in the showcase or model portfolio. Third type of performance-based assessment is performance. Giveaway during a tournament is also considered a student's performance. During the evaluation of learners' performance, a teacher must have a rubrics containing 3 learning domains, which are the psychomotor, cognitive, and affective.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, classmate. I am Erica Laman, and I am going to report about TUS. So, it is a print or plan prepared by a teacher to serve as basis for the test construction, specifically in making a summative or periodic test. This is the guide of teacher to give any kind of test to their student. By giving tests to the student, it is better to have a complete plan and exact content. Why it is important to have a content validity? It is improved that content validity of teacher constructed test. It is important to have a content validity to give the test to the student because in giving test to the student, ensure that the questions came from your topic. Next, identify types and number of items. It helps teacher in determining the types and number of items that they need to construct. In giving number of test questions, it is important to have a complete and detailed. And the last one is the representative. So it helps teacher determine whether there is a representative pulse of question on the test.
So good afternoon everyone, my name is Meghan Ayla Puerto and I am going to discuss the table of specification. So we have an example given. In the first column, we have the objectives. Next, we have the number of hours. Third is we have the number of items. Then we have the percentage of items. So for example, we have 4 objectives. And in the first objective, we have used 2 hours. In the second objectives, we have used 4 hours. In the third objectives, we have 1 hour. And in the fourth objectives, we have used 3 hours and 10 hours in total. So how are we going to identify the percentage of items and the number of items? So first, we are going to divide the number of hours used to the total number. For example, in the objectives 1, we have 2 hours used. So 2 divided by 10, which is the total number of hours, which is equal to 0.20 or 20%. In the objectives 2, we have 4 hours, so 4 divided by 10 is equals to 40%. In the third objectives, we have 1 hour divided by 10 is equals to 10%. And in the fourth objectives, we have 3 hours, which is 30%. So now, how are we going to identify the number of items? How many items should it be? So in our example, in our objectives number 1, supposedly we have 50 items test. So now we are going to multiply the 50, which is the total number of items, to the percentage of items on the specific objectives. Example, we have 50. So 50 multiplied by the 20%, which is in the objectives number 1, is equals to 10. So 10 now is the number of items in the first objectives. However, on the second objectives, we have 50 multiplied by 40% is equals to 20. So in the objectives 2, we have 20 items. And in the objectives 3, we have 50 multiplied by the 10% is equals to 5, which is the 5 items. And then in the objectives 4, we have 50 multiplied by 30%, which is equals to 15%. So we have now 50 items in total.
So assessments are the measuring stick of physical education classes. They help to show yourself and others that your students are learning and becoming more physically fit as a result of being in your class. Assessment can also help to show that your PE class is valuable. Therefore, assessments are important and should matter to you in your PE class. They should be performed at least before and after a unit or some set of period of time. Assessment can be broken down into 2 categories, traditional and non-traditional.